It's a weird time right now, I will say, for like creative campaigns because there's not really like a big moment. We're coming out of the Winter Olympics. We're pre-Summer Olympics. So, but there's some stuff that we really like lately.
Yeah, and so we're going to bring on the expert in art direction and concepting, better than us. That is Jason Murray. What do we need to know about Jason, Jack?
You know Jason on the internet. He is. We've got a term for him that you'll see in a second. But Jason Murray, great following. He's got his art director's school, his boot camp. So a lot of art directors have learned from Jason, and he has such a great taste and great feel for what's really good and why things look the way they do. So let's kick it. Let's bring in Jason to talk more about some campaigns that we like this week. Okay. It's the Creative Corner with Jason Murray. Going to talk about some creative campaigns that have come out recently that Jason likes. Jason, legend on the internet, the art director school, I know, in March, correct, Jason?
Yeah. We're doing another boot camp in March, did one in January and one in last September. And it's just been really great and getting a lot of great response from that 30-day focus on art direction, teaching creatives how to think like art directors.
Love that. That's a little plug. How about this one for you, Jason? If you want it, you can have it. Your art director's favorite art director, Jason Murray.
That's funny.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Let's jump into it, Gino.
Let's dive into the first campaign that we talked about this morning, but Omoda 7 Uncommon Creative Studios. Jack texted me this morning saying, Uncommon Creative Studio is incapable of doing anything normal. It's the truth here. Jason, can you give us, are you familiar with the Omoda 7 car brand? Can you give us a little rundown on the brand and then what the hell we saw with these 3 films?
Yeah. So I'm not as familiar with the car itself. I did a little bit of research. It's a Chinese car brand launching in the UK. Maybe it'll come to the US. I'm not as familiar with the background of the car. But this launch, the tagline that they're going with is everything is essential. And it's this idea of, excessiveness. This car is excessive. So show just how excessive the car is, really this idea of abundance. I think it comes through in the spots, but there's an interesting concept that I've been talking about. And the reason why I'm just so excited about these spots, and if you haven't seen them, you have to go check them out, is that there's this concept of process as art. I've been talking about it a bit on my own channels, but I don't think people have really understood what that could look like. And what's interesting to note, especially because I'm an art director, is that they showed behind the scenes stuff in the hero spots themselves, in the frame. And usually, a lot of commercials, they'll ship like a behind the scenes video or a making of video along the side. And it's kind of like self-serving. It's more for the creatives, or maybe like fans of the brand to really dive deeper. But for this, you'll notice that so there's 3 spots. One takes the car through a whole bunch of sort of simulated wind tunnel environments, the weather, snow is getting splashed at the car, different things like that. The second spot is kind of promoting the fragrance technology of the car. I guess you can press a button and the fragrance can change and stuff. Really cool. Only could expect that from an EV car brand. And then the third spot is about its noise cancellation. And what they did for that one is they took a whole bunch of cats and let them kind of claw and purr and prowl across the car. So you've got these 3 different spots and these different ways of showcasing this excessiveness, the features of each car. The one about the fragrance, they literally, throw a whole bunch of flowers and different things onto the car. But anyone who's worked on cars, I haven't worked on a lot of cars in the past, but anyone who's worked on cars and advertising, they know that a lot of these are done with CG. Even the car themselves, most of the car ads you see are never actually these beautiful shots actually in the mountains. They're CG. And so what they did was they did this for real. And in this day and age, you have to prove it. We don't believe that anything's shot for real. And so they're literally showing the air cannons in the spot. You see it in the frame, the air cannons blowing flowers at the car. And it's like hundreds of different flowers, landing on the car, showcasing the fragrance technology. They've got the actual cats, purring and clawing at the car, and that's showcasing the noise cancellation. So this concept of process as art is just something I'm really excited about and thinking about more, because it's not just shipping a behind the scenes video. It's putting glimpses of the behind the scenes in the frame, in the hero spots, in the ads itself. So as you can tell, I'm passionate about it, because it's like, man, I want to see more of that, because I want to believe that what I'm seeing is like real and impressive,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, though, I know what you're talking about too. There's the one, I think it's the cat spot, where at the end it's like someone that's on the set walks kind of like in the scene. Can you imagine being that person? Like you get to, you get to be like, oh, I worked on that commercial. You'd be like, that's me right there. I'm in the commercial. Credits for sure.
I was gonna say I need that fragrance technology in my room.
It's a good call. But it's this is like
technology.
It's very uncommon though. And Jason, I think you went pretty deep on a recent campaign of uncommons, but they have and you can even tell when you read the ad age write up on it, and you think about and you look at the press release, they're very intentional about making the focus of it how it was made. Gino and I joke about this all the time for the
BritBox.
BritBox.
17 different. It took 17 hours straight, one shot.
Yeah.
432 different costume changes, 13 different shots, 400 lights for you. They get so tangible, and it's it kind of reminds me of when I was in college trying to beef up my resume. They say you have to put the analytics in your resume.
Yeah.
But they do it. It works so well, and it's the antidote to the AI slop. I think that's what Jason is touching on too.
Yeah. What was the one that you talked about recently? And then, sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Uncommon, I went really deep on the Ordinary spot that they did. And I think they just really care about the details. And I feel like they have this, I'm going to assume they have a philosophy of not assuming the audience is dumb, and assuming that the audience will care about the details. And so, but even the behind the scenes glimpses, everything is super intentional. It's not like they're doing it haphazardly. The guy that comes in to sweep after, or the person to come in and wrangle the cat after, it's probably an actor. It's probably someone very much blocked out to go and walk into a certain spot. But it still gives me this idea that they actually went and did this thing for real, and that's the art of it. It's the edit isn't the art. The actual fact that they shot all these flowers, or they let the cats loose on the car, that's the hero spot. So super fun.
Two other things: the car's never moving.
Yeah,
not once. And then also, it's ruined all other car ads. If you next time you're watching TV, you see an ad, it's just going to be the basic mud on the tires.
Yeah. It's driving through a thunderstorm or whatever. You get the shot. It's the most perfect, picturesque road to drive on. So that was Uncommon, Omoda 7, car maker debut. Next one I wanted to talk about, Jason, quick one, just because I find this so fascinating. But A$AP Rocky is the creative director at Ray-Ban. I remember they came out with this news last year, I want to say, and you always wonder about these celebrity collaborations where they just name someone a creative director. Is anything actually going to happen? But they come out with this film, and I thought it was really interestingly shot. And it's A$AP Rocky and Nas, a famous rapper, just chilling. They meet up, and then A$AP Rocky just kind of explains what the products are that Ray-Ban's coming out with. But just curious about your thoughts on that spot, and then the idea of these celebrity creative directors.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you have a celebrity creative director, it's usually 9 times out of 10, it's a PR move. They're a figurehead, and just the ability to attach a brand to that name might, push the brand in a certain direction. But A$AP Rocky is known for really, high art, conceptual, or experimental music videos. He pushes filmmaking. He pushes the technology of his filmmaking. So if you've looked at his music videos, you know that he's got creative chops, and a lot of that is driven by himself. So this latest film that he did, I think proves that he's going to be a little bit more, have his finger more on the levers and the creative control of the brand than most, symbolic creative directors. He directed the spot himself, and I won't pretend to know like all of the details of how much it means to that culture, the community. I never watched Belly, but it's a cult classic, and the spot or the film is a recreation of a scene from Belly where Nas is having conversation with the character there. And so it's like, I checked out, you can find it on Instagram. There's people that put it split screened. It's shot for shot. They went to the exact same diner. I'm pretty sure it's up in Harlem, and there's even more significance there with diner, like late night diner outings and the culture there. But it's shot for shot. There's now a handicap accessibility wheelchair ramp in the front, which wasn't there before, but it's essentially the exact same diner. They're putting up, in terms of art direction, set design, they're putting up things on the wall, and even the artwork itself is all the exact same. And then I think the detail that like showcases just A$AP Rocky's attention to detail. And I again, it's kind of this appreciation of detail that the fans will appreciate the detail. If you look at the style of his line, of his glasses, it's just like verbatim. It looks similar to the glasses in the film, to the glasses Nas is wearing. So I think he's thinking through those details. He's got a strong team around him that's helping him execute. And I think it's going to really push the creative reputation of Ray-Ban further forward than a symbolic creative director would, for sure.
Yeah, I think it is, because to me Ray-Ban always, I feel like they like feel like a retro brand almost. Like they're constantly drawing on the nostalgia. Like even I forget the name of it, but like the classic Ray-Bans that everyone has. Wayfarer. Like those are such a iconic old school vibe.
It's classic.
It's classic. I feel like Ray-Ban is classic. And A$AP Rocky also, by the way, I've come to really recently love A$AP Rocky because he just put out this, I don't know who he worked on with it, but he was at an elementary school in New York City, helping students like with their music and like rapping.
That's cool.
And it's so cool. It's like he's working with these kids. He's very personable, and he's like helping this young, probably like second grader, like overcome his fear of like speaking in public. It's awesome. So A$AP Rocky is like, I feel like he's freaking awesome. And this is just another thing for him.
Yeah. If I'm Ray-Ban, I'm gonna just say, do whatever you want. I'm curious about the car at the end of that ad. Did you see that it was like a truck of some sort, a Jeep truck? It had the Ray-Bans like branding all over it with his. I wanted to find out more about that.
Well, we're gonna see that truck in Soho in about a week at an activation, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I won't pretend to even, like, I didn't watch Belly. I won't pretend to know all the ins and outs of it, but I'm really curious about the details. And if you look at the comments of, the video that A$AP Rocky put on his Instagram and a lot of the breakdowns, the comments are all people really like pointing out the details. They're showing like, oh, like you see this on the wall, or like the music, or this or that, or he's even wearing this. And it's like people care about that stuff. And it's like art direction sometimes is the idea and sometimes it serves the idea, but either way, I think people appreciate even when the framing of a story is done with intention, with detail.
Yeah, that's great. And then the last thing we want to talk about, this is a Jason Murray special. Really, really interesting story, honestly. But Nike All Conditions gear relaunched in the beginning of February. They were quietly releasing new products from ACG, that sub-brand of Nike, last fall, and then they do their formal relaunch in early February. Nike All Conditions gear is such an interesting just story in itself. I feel like the thing to me that's super interesting is it started really based off of in the 70s. Jason, you pointed this out to me. In the 70s, it was like these guys hiked a mountain wearing Nike running shoes. because like that was what they were wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like spawned this whole sub brand, and then they put out the film really that I think is the main thing, is really talking about the planet as a playground, and it's kind of it's up against this phrase of this gorp core, if you will. So that's kind of, I want to lay that out there for
Jason,
the
I'm
people.
gonna need you to break this down.
Yeah,
for me.
Jason, break this down for us. What's going on?
What's Gorp Core?
Gorp Core. There's a kind of a decade or so where Gorp Core essentially referring to the the outdoor apparel really becoming just fashion. The sort of Gore-Tex materials, and it's like you're not even using you're not even using the utility of that stuff. You're wearing Sauconys or whatever. Are those Sauconys?
Solomons, the Solomons.
Is that Gorp Core?
Solomons, but you're not actually climbing the mountains and stuff like that. But honestly, this relaunch for me, you could look at it as like a nostalgia play on one hand. I think, a lot of things right now are kind of playing on our nostalgia heartstrings. But for me, this relaunch is a little bit more intentional than just nostalgia, and it really goes back to the story that Jack had mentioned. It goes back to the original advertising and kind of a outdoor advertising in its heyday. Like Jack mentioned, the hikers that climbed to the top of K2, they did it in flimsy Nike shoes, and then sent a picture of the shoes to Nike, and that's what spawned ACG. Nike had no plans of creating an outdoor line, but after they saw we could actually make shoes that are better than that, because their shoes weren't made to hike to the top of K2. But it's also what kind of influenced the energy of the ads at that time. This kind of craziness and absurdity. Like, why would these insane hikers hike to the top of K2 in Nike running shoes? And that absurdity energy is in all of the old spots. It's like super hilarious stuff. It's super irreverent, like more ads that there's more swearing and they're talking about this or that. And it's like that irreverence is really what outdoor culture is more about. It is a little bit absurd. It is a little insane. Like the outdoors is trying to kill you. You've got these crazy people that are pushing themselves to the limits. So this latest launch is about the planet as an amusement park. And they're positioning planet Earth as, the greatest amusement park ever. And it kind of makes me think of like Action Park, that like famous New Jersey, I think, amusement park that had a lot of legal trouble. But anyways, I've been obsessed with the art direction, dug a lot into it, because I noticed so many of the references in the art direction felt like the original work. It felt like a return to the original work. Similar absurdity, the VFX and like animation is super lo-fi. It's like super 90s. There's a couple different social spots that don't try to make it super realistic. It's more about the surrealism of the outdoors and helping you kind of feel just how crazy and absurd the outdoors really is. But even the concept of the amusement park and the Earth as an amusement park, if you dig into the old work, they even mention that in the spot. So for me, I just have to give the creative team kudos. Wieden Kennedy, they did the hero spots, the Earth as the World of Endless Attraction spot. There's 2 other videos that they did. They hired Jackass co-creator Jeff Tremaine to create those. But yeah, my kudos is to the Wieden Kennedy creative team, because it's clear they really dove into the old work. They pulled, references and concepts from the original work. And for me, as like an outdoorsy guy, it just feels more relatable, even though it is like surreal and a little absurd and stuff. The nature and the outdoors has just been treated like way too polished and way too much with like reverence. Like you see these like beautiful picturesque Instagram photos, or things like that. So it's just fun to see them really taking big risks and making the outdoors feel as wild as it really is. So
Yeah,
those are some of the details and capturing a little bit of the story behind it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, that they're kind of, it almost makes me feel like they're getting back to why this line of clothing exists in the first place. Like we went a little bit too far in terms of even like the side of like the seriousness and like how like I just feel like I've seen a lot of these outdoor clothing ads and it just feels so serious, and it's like these people are so intense in these ads. I'm like, holy
Say
shit.
a brand.
I'm trying to think of what a good example would be, but like even I don't know. I think of Solomon, and I think it's like so
Solomon,
serious
for sure. Running brands right now are like super serious, super intense. And no, you're right. Like it shows that they're repositioning and really focusing on actual outdoor people, or their target of, more outdoorsy people. I think that could be debatable because Nike isn't necessarily the most known for the technical outdoor quality. They don't have like the biggest history with the outdoors. But for me, like I'm not as intense into like the fashion world. I am a little bit more on the outdoor side, and it feels like a return to stuff that outdoor people actually think. Like outdoor people are a little insane. Like they're all a little crazy. And even like you can see glimpses in even just like the tone of how they're treating it. Again, the irreverence of it, the like it's not super I don't know how to say it. Like they're swearing, they're cussing, like different things like that just feel like when you're out in the outdoors, there are no rules. So yeah, I think it's really great.
Yeah, it's like the people, the hardcore like outdoors people don't care about really like the fashion aspect. Like that's kind of how it's weird how that's kind of how these brands or these fashion things take off, is because the people that don't care about fashion wear them a lot, and then people are like, oh, like the hardcore outdoorsy people are wearing it, like that's cool, I want to be cool like them, and then they wear it and they're like, oh shit.
Cotopaxi.
What's that?
It's like the colorful outdoor brand.
Yep. Based out of Utah. A lot of colorful backpacks. You see those all the time. Mm-hmm.
I see the like people on like the subway, like rocking those, like people going to their corporate jobs, because it reflects to me, it's a signal to me that wow, they work, but they also know how to play.
Yeah, they got some stuff going on. They got stuff going on outside of work.
They're hiking up to the 20th floor of their corporate office building for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, that's great. Nike All Conditions gear. Let's keep an eye out for that. Some of the work coming out of there, because it is it's a little bit different from your typical Nike work too. I feel like it's I don't know. It doesn't feel the same. It feels the same but different in the way that they're making it. So we'll keep our eye on that. You should too. Shout out to Wieden on all that. But that was the Creative Corner with Jason Murray, your art director's favorite art director.
Love that.